The catch up, boy. On phone them grade. No. I got 4 watches, 4 chains.
That's Keef's cousin Tato right there in Chicago, iced out and talking wild, warning anyone who dares to test him.
You know what the family cooked? Or you just
my family in
chef it?
Chicago, man.
My
family is from Chirac. I'm in Los Angeles.
He wasn't just flexing, he was sending a message. Keef, he won't step foot back there. The last cousin who tried going back got caught lacking or shot down right on the sidewalk. 10 shots fired, no suspects, no justice. Keef lost it after that, spiraling deep into anger and paranoia. But years later, one haunting lyric from King Von would shake things up. My homie think I killed his cousin. Well, oh well. That line had everyone connecting dots and whispering. Now fast forward to late February 2026. Tadoe finally touches down again. A short clip hits Instagram, and boom, every drill page lit up within hours. There he was, Darren Rose, better known as Tato, Chief Keef's own cousin, and a solid Glo Gang member. In the video, Tato's standing in what looks like the south side, streetwear fresh, camera rolling, adjusting his hat, flashing his jewelry, and showing off what he had on him.
The catch up, boy. On phone them grade. No. I got 4 watches, 4 chains.
The streets couldn't stop talking. 4 watches shining, multiple chains swinging, at least 4 luxury timepieces and enough heavy jewelry to blind the camera. Tato wasn't holding back, and every second of that clip screamed danger and confidence. The quote that went viral everywhere was, "I got 4 watches, 4 chains, play me, you gon' die." But in another version that started floating around, Tato took it even further, aiming straight at 600, a crew known to be tied to a block and figures like Lil Durk. He said, "Anybody from 6-0, I'm back. Not, I might pull up, not, I'll be in town soon, but I'm back." Present tense. Feet on Chicago ground, chains out, threat locked in. The message was crystal clear. He wanted everyone to know he was really there. That clip spread like wildfire. Instagram Reels couldn't stop replaying it, popping up on pages like My Mixtape Has Daily, Hip Hop On Demand, Squid Ape TV, and Poetic Flacco News. Over on Facebook, it took off through Plug Sounds, and X, formerly Twitter, caught the wave next. Reposts, highlights, fan edits, it was everywhere. Within hours, the numbers exploded. Thousands of likes, thousands of shares, everyone talking about Tato's return and that bold message. Tato had been living it up in LA for years, rolling with Chief Keef and the Glo Gang crew, Sunshine Studios and luxury living. Yeah, he popped back into Chicago here and there, but this time, that clip made it feel different. It wasn't just another visit, it looked like a full-blown return. A statement that Glo Gang was back where it all started, on blocks that still carry the scars and weight of their history. But that first clip, that was just a warm-up. Soon after, a second, longer video dropped. And this one hit like a bomb. No mystery, no guessing games. Tato and his crew were front and center, hyped up, staring straight into the camera, letting the world know exactly what time it was. They were talking loud, claiming that Glo Gang was ready to move again now that they touched Chicago soil after being gone so long.
Lay you lay. Tell him, man. Sosa's finna perform in a ride. It's been like, what, 10 years?
10 years. That's the number everyone kept repeating. A whole decade since Chief Keef dipped out of Chicago, a decade since the streets were drenched in chaos and Glo Gang shifted their base to the West Coast. And now here's Tadoe, standing back on the Southside pavement, looking straight into the camera and declaring with confidence, "The wait is over."
10 years? Nah, we finna pop out here, get it boxing on Folsom Grade.
Finna pop out wasn't some casual street phrase here, not at all. This was a direct affiliate of Chief Keef, standing in a city that's taken the lives of multiple people from his own crew, boldly declaring on camera that they're about to get active again. The weight behind those words hit hard down. This wasn't small talk. This was a statement with history behind it. The entire drill scene caught every single syllable, and the wild part, Tato was just getting started.
Put the guns down, but keep them on y'all, folks. Push a peaceful, but for we push a heat, yo, play your play.
That one line drew a dangerous line in the sand. While some are out here pushing peace and positivity, Glo Gang made it clear they're pushing something different. The message, if you even think about crossing them, you're already too late. It's over before you know it. Nothing about this was hidden or coded. It was straight up a filmed declaration of readiness, and the clip was geotagged to the same city where half his friends now rest.
So, Get put in that suitcase and folks in them grave. They gonna find your bodies in other states.
And when Tato dropped lines like "put in that suitcase, find your bodies in other states," it turned heads fast. Because when words like that hit the internet, everyone knows something serious might follow. The comment sections went wild. Supporters ate it up like it was entertainment. One fan even joked, folk probably got suitcases on standby, treating it like a punchline instead of what it really was, a straight up threat. But in a city that sees over 600 homicides a year, words like that don't just float away, they hit different. It all depends on which side of the city or the story you're standing on.
Gonna put your in the car, get your ass dropped off. Get your ass fold your up like this, folks, and put your suitcase. You play, they gonna find your ass. No right, folks. Stop playing.
Then Tato doubled down. He said it again. Fold you up, put you in the suitcase, get you dropped off. This wasn't a metaphor anymore. This was a man standing in one of the deadliest cities in the country, repeating the same line twice, just to make sure everyone heard him loud and clear. No confusion, no hidden meaning. Only a direct message meant for anyone watching. And then, just when people thought he might chill, he brought it back to the roots. Glory boy, Glo Gang.
Y'all love Chicago though. You know that. We finna rock this. We still out here on Folsom Grade. We started.
Chief Keef's foundation, the very crew that built drill music from the ground up. Tato wasn't moving for clout. He was carrying the legacy, waving Keef's flag right back in the neighborhoods where Glo Gang's history is written in pain, where members have been ambushed, shot, and buried. The internet split in two instantly. Glo Gang fans said it felt like classic Chief Keef energy, calling it the return of that old spirit. Others weren't impressed, calling it reckless, dangerous, even pointless. Some comments didn't hold back at all. He'll get took by anyone in the city playing crazy. And then there were the skeptics cracking jokes, comparing him to Key and Peele, clowning the jewelry, saying the suitcase talk was all cap. But deep down, people knew something about this moment felt too real. Beneath all the jokes, reposts, and online hype, one chilling comparison started showing up in every comment section, on every platform. And it's the one that should have Tato thinking twice. Because the last time a Chief Keef cousin came back to Chicago flashing money and success, he didn't even make it through the night. His name was Blood Money, and his story is the real reason Chief Keef packed up and never looked back. Blood Money's final trip home changed everything. It's the cautionary tale burned into Glo Gang's history. Back when Chief Keef, real name Keith Cozart, came up out of Parkway Gardens on the south side, he turned drill music into a worldwide movement. Tracks like I Don't Like and Love Souza in 2012 blew up the internet, putting him on global stages before he was even old enough to legally drink. Keef went on to build Glo Gang, which started out as Glory Boys Entertainment, a family-first operation stacked with blood relatives, day one friends, and tight affiliates tied to the Black disciples out of O'Block. By 2013 though, Keef saw what was happening around him, too much death, too much chaos, and made the move to Los Angeles. For a while it looked like the whole crew might follow him out west and leave Chicago behind. One of those who wanted a fresh start was his second cousin Mario Hess, better known as Blood Money, or Big Glo. Born February 13, 1984, he was 10 years older than Keef and served as the big brother figure inside the label, the one who understood both the streets and the business. While Keef was the face of the movement, Hess was the foundation holding it up. A father of 5, he had a record stacked with narcotics and weapons charges, but he was trying to flip his whole life around through music. Blood Money was ready to turn pain into purpose, and for a second it looked like he was really about to make it. He was making real moves. Blood Money had popped up on the Glo Gang mixtape Drug Wars in 2013 and teamed up with Chief Keef on Rehab, a track that racked up over 13 million views. He wasn't just rapping, he was mentoring the younger Glo Gang artists, trying to build something solid, and the industry finally started to take notice. By early 2014, things were lining up fast. Hess landed a deal with Interscope Records, the same powerhouse label backing Chief Keef. He walked away with a $50,000 advance, which for someone coming out of West Inglewood with his past was life-changing money. His manager and first cousin, Ronaldo Ruben Hess, had one plan: get him out of Chicago for good, secure the deal, grab the check, and move to LA where it was safe. For a while, everything was smooth. Hess had been in Los Angeles working with Keef. recording new tracks, lining up opportunities. But then he made the move that too many people from the trenches make when success finally hits. He went home. He came back to Chicago to celebrate 2 of his cousins' birthdays and to show love to the people who've seen his whole rise. Back on the same blocks he grew up on, surrounded by family and old faces, he wanted to share his blessings. But relatives later said something felt off. They noticed he seemed tense, like he could sense danger in the air before it even came. His manager begged him not to go back, told him to stay in LA where it was safe. But Hess couldn't stay away. The truth is, when you come from a place like Inglewood, success doesn't hide you. It exposes you. It makes you a target. And as he posted on Instagram, flashing that record deal and showing everyone that the money was real, the streets were watching. And not everyone was happy about it. In a neighborhood where people struggle just to eat, flashing money and success doesn't stay secret for long. Everybody notices. One neighbor told reporters afterward that Hess wasn't too good for the hood, even after landing his record deal, and that single line says it all. It showed exactly how some people around him viewed his come up, envy mixed with resentment. The jealousy was real, and so were the grudges. The countdown started the moment he touched Chicago soil. On the night of April 9, 2014, around 9:45 p.m., Mario Blood Money Hess was standing outside a family home near 56th and Elizabeth Street in West Inglewood, laughing, celebrating with relatives, just trying to enjoy a moment of peace. But in seconds, everything flipped. Reports say possibly 2 attackers pulled up and started spraying with semi-automatic weapons, unleashing a storm of rounds into the night. Over 24 rounds flew. It was fast, violent, and deliberate. Hess was hit multiple times, up to 10 shots striking his chest and torso before he collapsed right on the sidewalk. A 28-year-old relative, now believed to be his cousin, Darnell Patton, also got hit in the abdomen but somehow survived after emergency surgery. By the time police arrived, the scene was chaos. Lights flashing, families screaming, evidence scattered everywhere. Investigators had to use index cards to mark the shell casings because there were too many for standard markers, and now more than 24 scattered across the concrete like confetti from hell. No weapon was recovered, no clear witnesses came forward. In West Inglewood, silence is survival. The no snitch code runs deeper than the gutters on those blocks. And just like that, a man who was finally turning his life around was gone before the night even ended. Mario Blood Money. Hess was rushed to John H. Stroger Jr. Hospital, but it was already too late. He was pronounced dead shortly after arriving. He was just 30 years old, a father of 5, only weeks away from leaving Chicago behind for good. And instead, he ended up a body on a cold slab. Police launched an investigation right away, digging into every possible angle. And in Chicago's drill scene, that means plenty of them. They looked at rap feuds as a potential motive since Glo Gang had long-standing beefs with Gangster Disciples factions like STL, Deuce, and EBT. The web of rivalries was endless, and everyone had a theory. Some stories floating around claim that Hess might have once been involved in a situation where he allegedly shot an O-Block member named C-Murder during a robbery connected to Chief Keef's house, and on the south side, things like that don't get forgiven. Debts don't disappear out there, they get collected. Others said it was simpler, just plain jealousy. A neighborhood kid finally caught a bag, came home shining, and somebody couldn't stand to see it. Either way, the result was the same. No arrest, no closure. The case went cold fast like too many others in that part of the city. After Hess's death, the disrespect started almost instantly. Rival rappers wasted no time turning tragedy into content. FBG Whiskey even dropped a line about him in his Computers remix, mocking a dead man just for clicks and streams. That's the culture out there. You live, you die, and then your name turns into a punchline in somebody else's track. Mario Hess, Blood Money, Big Glo, was supposed to be the one who made it out, the one who changed the story. Instead, he became another number, another funeral, another heartbreak that pushed Chief Keef even further away from Chicago. And now fast forward, February 2026, Tato walks back into that same city, the same streets, shining just like Blood Money did, and everyone's remembering how that story ended, but with an ambush. Now fast forward, Tato steps back into Chicago, flashing 4 watches, 4 chains, calling out 600 by name, and talking about putting people in suitcases. The parallels are too loud to ignore. It's almost like history is trying to repeat itself, daring fate to play out the same ending, exile or the graveyard. When the news about Blood Money hit, it slammed into Chief Keef like crashing face first into solid concrete. This wasn't just another affiliate or homie from the block. This was family. His second cousin, Loidanakiri, the man he personally brought into the music game, personally flew out to LA, personally gave a way out of the trenches, only for the streets to pull him back in and take him down anyway. Even Keef's grandmother, Margaret Cozart, later revealed what Keef had told Mario. Before everything changed, he looked him in the eye and said, "We're not gonna rob, we're not gonna steal, I got a plan, and that plan is to make music." That was the promise. Music was the escape route, and it worked, right up until Hess went back home. Keef showed up to Blood Money's funeral under heavy police watch, barely able to grieve, surrounded by tension, eyes everywhere. That moment broke something in him. After that day, he made the decision that shaped the next decade of his life. He was done with Chicago, and that wasn't paranoia, it was survival. What happened to Blood Money was already the second incident in weeks tied to Keef's circle. Just a month earlier, in March 2014, Keef's manager's house had been shot up, bullets ripping through walls as if to remind him the city wasn't safe anymore. The message couldn't have been clearer. If you're connected to Chief Keef in Chicago, you're walking around with a target on your back. In a Billboard interview from August 2015, Keef called the loss a big lesson, the kind written in blood with no rewrites, no second chances. And now, watching Tadoe back in the same streets, mouthing off in the same way, it's impossible not to wonder, has the lesson been forgotten, or is Chicago about to write another tragedy? By June 2014, Chief Keef's time in Chicago was officially over. He got evicted from his Highland Park home, a moment that pushed him to go all in on his move to LA. But this wasn't just about a new zip code, this was about survival. Keef wasn't just leaving a house, he was cutting ties with an entire city he believed would eventually destroy him if he stayed. He started calling Chicago the city of hella haters, echoing words Kanye once used, but this time it wasn't just a lyric, it was personal. Out west, he rebuilt from the ground up. Far from the chaos and bloodshed, he got into art collecting, picking up pieces from Bill Da Butcher, poured his focus into raising his kids, and turned Glo Gang into a full-blown business empire. Between his music royalties, merch lines, and side ventures, his net worth climbed toward $10 million. The change didn't happen overnight, it was a slow evolution. But Keef stayed firm in every interview. He left because he had to.
You know what the family cook? Or you just
My family in
chef it?
Chicago, man.
Bring
My
it to
family
LA.
is from Chirac. I'm in Los Angeles.
He drew a sharp line. His people are still there, but he's here. That's it, no in between. And when critics questioned it, he didn't back down, he doubled down, making it clear he wasn't ever going back.
Maybe chilling in the rack, man.
Yeah.
I'm chilling when I got chefs in LA. They
Chicken
come
up.
do what I want them to do. Whatever I
Okay.
say, they be.
That's it.
Oh, fuck.
That wasn't a man longing for home. That was a man who built something better and had zero reason to ever look back. Chief Keef wasn't just escaping, he was evolving. In multiple interviews, he explained how leaving literally saved his life. He talked about how the streets and everything that came with them were swallowing him whole back in Chicago. Moving to LA forced him to slow down, to think, to grow. He admitted he used to be young and in the streetlight when it paid me, chasing fame and danger at the same time. But once he left, everything changed. It took distance for Keef to become someone who could actually hold a conversation, plan for the future, and walk into an interview without dropping one-word answers. In that Billboard 2015 feature tied to Bang, Keef gave full credit to LA, saying it pulled him away from the unnecessary chaos, the traps, and the constant pull of the streets. He was blunt about it too. Chicago was death, and LA was life. Clips all over YouTube show the same theme. Keef saying that if he'd stayed in Chicago, he'd either be dead or locked up. There was no in between, and people around him saw it too. They could feel the difference.
Shit too though.
Yeah, I think it's with Chief Keef, I think it's just like niggas was trying to make him do something that he didn't want to do.
Out west, he found peace, creativity, and safety. Back home, it was always pressure. Pressure to stay loyal to the block, pressure to pay up, pressure to play street politics. But Keef made it clear he wasn't playing those games anymore. He wasn't biting, he wasn't folding, and he wasn't coming back.
Like pay for somebody to bail or something.
I seen that.
And they was saying he got all his money, but like
All that
I
money
feel
was
Chief
y'all
Keef
money.
though. He probably
And he got out and never looked back.
He left and then never looked back. And the proof that Chief Keef made the right call is written in the obituaries of the ones who stayed behind.
And then
And you see what happens to the ones that didn't leave. Now they still getting caught up. Like,
Pop Smoke
or
left.
dead.
They got his ass all the way over there.
The people who tried to hold it down in Chicago kept getting caught up, locked up, or worse, laid to rest. Every single tragedy that hit the city became another reminder that Keef's decision to move 2,000 miles away wasn't weakness. It was wisdom. But Chicago didn't let him go quietly. The city tried to pull him back even after he'd left. Officials basically slapped an informal ban on him performing in his own hometown, branding him a violence promoter. It didn't matter how far he'd grown, to them he was still trouble. In 2015, Keef tried to host a hologram benefit concert, not even a real in-person show, just a digital projection beamed in from another state. Still, Mayor Rahm Emanuel's office shut it down, claiming it was a public safety concern. Imagine that. A man not even physically present, and the city still said no. Police scrutiny never stopped either. Outstanding warrants, even over things like child support, then kept piling up, and constant threats from rivals made returning home impossible. So he stayed away. For over a decade, he's kept that distance, and it's probably what kept him alive. Even others from the scene respected the move. Affiliates like 600 Breezy gave Keef credit for being smart enough not to look back. They knew the truth. In Chicago, fame doesn't protect you, it paints a target on you. The warning signs had been there since the start. Go all the way back to August 2012 when Keef was just 16, sitting on house arrest and already featured on the Fader cover. Even then, he was talking about how fame and violence were tearing his world apart. In an April 2012 Chicago Tribune interview, a young Chief Keef said it himself, getting dice where Chicago got too much violence and too much hatred. Those weren't just words or Awajir words, they were prophecy. And over a decade later, every name lost in the streets proved that Keef had seen it all coming before anyone else did. Keef was a teenager already calling out the sickness that would take his cousin 2 years later. In a May 2024 Grammy.com interview ahead of Almighty, so too, he said he was better now than I ever was, crediting Distance for his maturity and growth. That same year, he performed at the Lyrical Lemonade Summer Smash in June 2024, his first Chicago show back. A whole generation of drill artists rose and fell while he stayed away. In an October 2024 Zane Lowe Apple Music interview, he explained how the streets hit him and how he evolved from a kid giving one-word answers to a man with real emotional range. He even dedicated projects to blood money. Keef kept Hess's memory active, changing his profile picture to Hess's photo on his birthday every year, featuring Hess on posthumous tracks and listing him on TikToks among the people the streets took. Every name carried a reason, and blood money was far from the only loss.
Lost a lot of friends to violence, huh? Mention some of the names. Let's give them a space right now that you've lost to violence.
When asked to name the people he lost, Keef didn't hesitate. He spoke each name straight away, and that steady recall showed why he chose to stay away and keep living.
My cousin, Bud, my brother, Cap, Couple, Marvin, OD, White, Toon.
Each name left Keef's mouth like a shell casing hitting the concrete. Sharp, cold, final. No pause, no hesitation, just one after another. Because the list of people he's lost is that long.
Keita, Lil Mo. There's a lot of guys.
Did you just feel that loss of your friends?
It's been felt.
When he finally said, "It's been felt," those 3 words hit harder than any drill lyric he ever wrote. They carried years of pain, loss, and survival, all packed into one sentence. And when the interviewer asked what he did with those emotions, his answer said everything.
What did you do with those feelings?
Take them and say, hey, you want me to laugh this out?
He didn't process it. He just packed it up and kept moving. Because in his world, there's no time to grieve. Not when the next funeral could be days away. That's how life in Chicago shaped him. Emotion had to take a back seat to survival. Long before Chief Keef ever dropped a hit, there was O.D. Perry. Born around 1991, O.D. was a known Black Disciples member from Parkway Gardens, not a rapper, but a respected street figure. In August 2011, O.D. was ambushed and shot multiple times near 64th and Martin Luther King Drive by alleged rivals from the Taytown TKA gang. He didn't make it. He died right there on the pavement. That single night changed the South Side forever. The neighborhood renamed Parkway Gardens to a block in his honor. a name that would soon echo across the world through music, headlines, and tragedy alike. Keef was just 16 at the time, still finding his sound, but he carried that pain straight into his lyrics, dropping Odie's name in tracks like 3 Huna and turning that grief into the raw, unfiltered energy that built the entire drill movement. No arrests were ever made, just another young life gone, another name on Keef's mental list that keeps getting longer every year. Then on January 2nd, 2013, Keef's stepbrother got shot dead in Chicago at 19. Some sources name him as Eli's Geezy, and Keef couldn't even go to the funeral because he was on probation for a 2011 weapons charge. He watched the burial over FaceTime, staring at a screen while they lowered his brother into the ground, and that loss hit him hard. He called that one of the losses that cut deep and said it was an early sign Chicago intended to keep taking from him. And after Blood Money in April 2014, that fear wasn't empty. The next blow came July 11th, 2015. Marvin Carr, known as Capo, who was born on April 22nd, 1993, lost his life in a drive-by on the south side, adding another name to an already grim list. Capo was core Glo Gang, has shown up on mixtapes like Back from the Dead 2 and known for tracks like Swag School Clicked. He got hit in the hip and back in South Shore. Bystanders tried to help and a video spread online, but he died at Advocate Christ Medical Center at 22 years old. Tragedy stacking on tragedy. The fallout turned even darker. The getaway car from that scene hit 13-month-old Dylan Harris, a baby in a stroller who had nothing to do with the conflict. 2 suspects were arrested in that case, and Keef tried to set up a hologram benefit for Capo, but police shut it down. The city wouldn't even let him mourn by projection on a screen. 2 months later, the losses didn't stop. September 2015, tragedy struck again. Marquise Tan, known as Wolf DeBoss, was found dead. Tan ran the Chief Keef Glow Shop, a marijuana dispensary in Compton, California. He had met Keef through Blood Money and was deeply tied into the crew, family and all but name. But one night, Tan and another man were found lifeless inside the shop after what investigators called a robbery gone bad. He was only 24 years old. This one hit different, because it didn't happen in Chicago. It happened in California, inside a business carrying Keef's name. The violence had followed them across state lines. Even with distance, the same danger Keef fled from somehow caught up again. Then on June 19, 2020, another devastating hit came. Kentrell Young, better known as Trey Savage, lost his life while driving in South Chicago. Born July 4, 1993, Trey was a founding Glo Gang member, one of the originals featured on Back from the Dead and known for the track Faces. He had survived close calls before in Walkway, but this time the rounds caught him in the neck and shoulder. His car swerved and crashed into parked vehicles. He was 26 years old and a father, and once again the case went unsolved. Keef took to social media, posting heartfelt tributes, calling Trey brother. And beyond the public names, there were others, and people like White Tone, and OD, friends whose deaths never made national headlines, but left the same permanent holes in his life and his circle. By 2014, Lil Steve had already lost his life to street violence. Then came James Jamo Johnson, another Glo Gang affiliate, who was taken in a 2015 incident. And in 2018, Keef lost another cousin, Fredo Santana, not to bullets, but to a seizure caused by lean addiction. It wasn't a drive-by or a hit, but it was still street violence in disguise. The same destruction, just with a different face. Since 2012, more than 30 drill rappers have died violently, but Keef's circle? It's been hit harder than almost anyone else's. People call it a survival paradox. The only reason Chief Keef is still alive is because he ran and never stopped running, and that's the weight sitting underneath Tato's viral clip. Every flashy watch, every diamond chain, every wild line about suitcases and bodies dropped out of state, it's all happening in a city already stained with Glo Gang history. Chicago doesn't forget and it doesn't forgive, but here's where the story twists into something darker. Years after Blood Money's funeral, new whispers started to surface because the rumors about who really took him out didn't point toward outside ops. They pointed inside, toward the very people who were supposed to be family. That's the word that started spreading. The back door. For years, Blood Money's death was written off as just another unsolved Chicago case. One more tragedy lost in the pile. No arrests, no suspects, no answers. The family mourned, Keef stayed gone, and the city kept spinning, piling up bodies and questions with no names attached. But then, starting around 2022, something changed. A new wave of allegations started bubbling up from inside the drill community. claims that cracked open the story everyone thought they knew, and this time, the finger wasn't pointing at rivals, it was pointing at the last people anyone expected. In 2022, an O Block affiliate named J Hood dropped a claim that shook the entire drill scene. He said the people behind Blood Money's death weren't random rivals or enemies from another set, they were people from the inside. According to J Hood, the ones behind it were none other than Troy T. Roy Blythe and Davon King Von Bennett, two of O Block's most feared names. His exact words, T. Roy and Von killed that dude, no matter what they was. That single claim hit like a live grenade, because in the streets, that kind of accusation means betrayal. In street talk, being backdoored means getting set up by your own, by someone you trust, not an enemy, but an insider who flips when you least expect it. If what J Hood said was even halfway true, it meant Blood Money wasn't taken out by an outside op. He was backdoored by people connected to the same bigger circle Chief Keef himself once moved with. And that's what made it explosive, because King Von and Chief Keef weren't strangers, they had history. The Nylotste two were spotted together in 2019, locked in a studio session, recording music, laughing, and looking like they were on the same side. Both came from O Block connected circles, both carried the same street DNA, and fans thought there was real respect between them. But if J Hood's claims hold even a shred of truth, then that picture flips completely. It means Von might have played a role in taking out Keef's own relative while still showing love and working with him in public. The thought alone sent shockwaves through every corner of the drill world. That's the textbook definition of a backdoor, smiling in someone's face while your hands still carry the mark of the person they love. And the craziest part? King Von might have hinted at it himself. In his track Evil Twins, there's Tato out, there's one line fans have picked apart for years, and but my homie think I killed his cousin. Well, oh well. If my homie was Chief Keef and the cousin was Blood Money and then Kyle Crump, then that wasn't a hint at all. That was a confession on wax. And the way Von said it, with that cold, casual tone, it sounded like he didn't care who caught the message. Drill rappers have a history of self-snitching in their lyrics, bragging or referencing real events that prosecutors later pull up in court as evidence. Von's line fit that pattern perfectly, and the drill community jumped on it instantly. They dissected every bar, every pause, every meaning behind that "oh well" icon. The rumors also came with a possible motive. Word was Blood Money had once shot an O Block member named C Murder during a robbery tied to Chief Keef's own home. If that story's true, O Block had a direct reason to want revenge, and that would mean the backdoor wasn't just random betrayal, it was payback. Calculated, personal, and delivered by people pretending to be cool. That's where Von and T-Roy allegedly came in. Both O Block soldiers, both trusted faces within Keef's extended circle. Their connection gave them access, the one thing no enemy from another side could ever get. Blood Money wouldn't have been on alert around them. They were family, at least in name. That's exactly what makes a backdoor so deadly. The danger comes from the one direction you'd never suspect. Then fast forward to February 2020. Those long simmering rumors that had been floating quietly for years finally detonated. The streets started talking again, and this time the whispers had names, context, and receipts. The spark that reignited everything came when Chief Keef teamed up with NBA Youngboy, and that's where things got messy, because Youngboy's close affiliate Lul Tim is the very person who took out King Von in November 2020. So when Keef and Youngboy linked up years later, the O Block side saw it as a straight up betrayal. They were furious. How could Keef work with someone connected to his friend's death? But on the Glo Gang side, the response flipped that question right back. How was Von our friend if he was the one who took out Blood Money? That's when Keef made a silent but powerful move that said more than any diss track ever could. In February 2026, right in the middle of all the backlash, Keef changed his profile picture. No caption, no explanation, just a single image, Blood Money's face. That one photo hit like a statement carved in stone. Every fan, every rival, every blog knew exactly what he meant without him saying a word. And then Glo Gang members started speaking up loud and clear. King Ela publicly said Von backdoored Sosa's cousin, and Main, another core Glo Gang figure, made it official when he declared Glo Gang don't rock with O Block no more. The message couldn't be clearer. Alliances were over, loyalty lines had been redrawn, and this time they weren't written in pencil. They were etched in permanent ink. Then came the music, and Chief Keef knew exactly what he was doing. When he dropped Avoid That Boy, Fans instantly tied it to the backdoor narrative. The lyrics weren't subtle either. Lines like, "That's the same dude my cousin punched, hope you pass away out of town like your bro," had people dissecting every word. If that was aimed at King Von, who was hit in Atlanta, far from home, then Keef was doing what drill rappers do best, turning real-life tension into music and letting the streets decode every word. Once those bars hit the internet, everyone knew, right? This wasn't just music, it was history being written in rhyme. But not everyone buys into that version of events. Blood Money's family and Front Street affiliates have publicly said the real suspect lost his life back in 2015, long before Von's rise to fame. On social media, a self-proclaimed glory boy called the Von Connection a fake story, saying people were twisting facts. Another O-Block insider known as A. Mongan claimed it was actually Young Money behind the hit, not Von or T-Roy. The truth? Nobody outside of the ones who actually pulled it off really knows for sure. And in Chicago, where cases stay unsolved for decades, certainty is a luxury nobody can afford. What's clear though is that these allegations, true or not, have permanently reshaped how the drill world views the connections between these camps. And for Chief Keef, that's all the justification he needed to stand with NBA Youngboy and officially cut off O-Block for good, which brings everything full circle. Right back to Tato standing on those Chicago blocks in February 2026. He's not just flexing jewelry or talking reckless for a few Instagram views, he's making a statement. Every move, every chain, every word he drops on camera carries the weight of the names the city already claimed. Odie Perry, Keef's stepbrother, Blood Money, Capo, Wolf DeBoss, Trey Savage, and a list too long. To finish, Tato isn't just showing off. He's standing on sacred ground surrounded by ghosts, representing Glo Gang in a city that's already taken everything from them once before. Now picture this, Tato standing on the very same blocks where the people accused of taking out his own cousin once walked. He's calling out 600 by name, talking wild about suitcases and out-of-state body drops, letting the whole South Side know that the crew Chicago thought was long gone is back, and they're bringing pressure with them. It's like deja vu. Back in 2014, Blood Money came home to celebrate and ended up catching 10 bullets on the sidewalk. Now in 2026, Tadoe comes home shining. 4 watches, 4 chains, and a promise that he's ready to fold up anything that moves and send it off across state lines. The faces change, the jewelry changes, the exact block might change, but the formula stays the same. A Glo Gang member leaves Chicago, then a Glo Gang member comes back, and every time the city reminds them that the streets never forget. Chief Keef cracked that code 12 years ago. That's why he's in Los Angeles, surrounded by peace, money, and chefs cooking for him, while his cousin is back home playing what looks like Russian roulette with an entire city that's buried half their crew. And now, with the backdoor rumors still unsettled, the O-Block tension burning hotter than it's been in years, and Tato walking through those same bloodstained streets. The only question left is the one nobody wants to answer. Has Glo Gang learned anything at all, or is Chicago about to take another one? If you made it this far, hit that like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. Tell us what you think. Is this history repeating itself, or a warning finally being ignored?